Liverpool legend has concern over Szoboszlai role in Arne Slot team. I'm not sure. Liverpool legend Graeme Souness has revealed he has concerns about Szoboszlai's physical capabilities and feels he is contributing to the Reds' problems this season. It's an intriguing and slightly surprising take from Souness, the one-time Liverpool midfield bruiser. Most would regard Szoboszlai as the standout performer in Arne Slot's side this campaign, a fact underlined by his selection in all 16 Premier League and Champions League line-ups. The Hungarian's selflessness, work rate, and quality in possession have been among the few bright points this season, particularly in a midfield that has looked so lightweight and porous. However, Souness feels Szoboszlai is contributing to those fragilities and is making it easy for opposition sides to counterattack on Liverpool. People are saying that Szoboszlai has had a great start to the season with the ball. Yes, but without the ball, I'm not sure with the transitions, Souness told the Liverpool Echo in a recent interview. Alexis Mack, Alistair, and Ryan Gravenberch are good at that. In those three midfield players, you have experience in winning the Premier League, and then you try and introduce Florian Wirtz into that, and I think he's playing catch-up. Returning to Liverpool's 0.8 later in the interview, Souness added, Szoboszlai is a fabulous striker of the ball, good ball technique. But my only concern is when the ball changes hands and you're no longer in possession. Does he sense any danger? Does he sense it quick enough? The way the game is played, possession changes hands, and within 2 passes, someone is having a pop at your goal. I like to watch him play football. He's an elegant player. But I think collectively the midfield could do better when they don't have the ball. Slot has tried to move on from last season's midfield trio of Gravenberch, Mac Allister, and Szoboszlai with the summer acquisition of Wirtz. But prior to his injury, the former Bayer Leverkusen man has started in the No.10 role in just one of the last 8 Premier League matches. Souness has suggested that has been a major problem. This season, you spend over £100 million on Wirtz and want him to come in and for it to be seamless. But that has not happened, said the Scotsman. When you've lost a number of games now, you'll be reverting to the tried-and-tested midfield 3, and we'll see that going forward. They are all fabulous on the ball, but I just worry slightly about when there's a transition and they're not in possession of the ball. They look too easy to play against. They're all top players, but I'd like to play against those 3, and I think other teams will see that. For things spotted in Liverpool training as Wirtz, hint given, and surprise name involved. After consecutive 3-2-0 defeats in the Premier League, Liverpool will hope that the Champions League can offer some respite on Wednesday with the visit of PSV. The Eredivisie leader beat the Reds in the group phase of last season's competition. But that was a dead rubber for Liverpool, and Arne Slot's side topped the standings regardless after he made wholesale changes. This time, there is much more on the line, not least injecting some confidence after another morale-sapping performance at the weekend. Ahead of the clash at Anfield, Liverpool undertook an open training session in Kirkby, but is spotted as it took place on match day, -1. Florian Wirtz still missing. There were 4 Liverpool players absent from today's open session, with none of them surprising. Florian Wirtz, Arne Slot said on Friday, should not be out for long. But he wasn't involved here. Neither were right-backs Connor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong, as expected, and long-term absentee Giovanni Leone. Everyone else appeared to be present and correct. Wirtz has excelled in the Champions League at times, most notably against Real Madrid. It appears that he will miss out here, though, which is a blow as he continues to adapt to life in England. Joe Gomez trains. Missing out on a few training sessions last week, and then not involved against Nottingham Forest, remaining on the bench. As a result, Joe Gomez was in action here. The defender could get the chance to come into the starting this midweek, either at center-back or right-back. Gomez can play either role, and Ibrahima Konaté has been unconvincing of late. If he does start, Gomez is unlikely to get the full 90 minutes. Given he has played so little in the last few months, having him here, though, is a boost nonetheless. With so few other options, Arne Slot all smiles undoubtedly. There is pressure on Arne Slot to get results at the moment. But he was all smiles here as he led the session. Virgil van Dijk said over the weekend that the players have been letting him down lately. But they will be determined to put that right. In Europe is where Liverpool has looked most comfortable so far this season, without the need to defend long balls, set pieces, and throws every few minutes. The Reds have looked much more like their usual selves. Even in some big fixtures, Slot has some major calls to make in the next few weeks. Hugo Ekitike was involved here and should start tomorrow, for instance, but there should remain confidence that he is the right man, sooner rather than later. Things must turn. Among the group that trained ahead of the PSV game were Cade Gordon, Rio Ngumoha, Trey Nuni, and some other youngsters. Some of those should feature in the U19's clash in the UEFA Youth League. James Norris was also present after returning from his loan spell in Shelburne, while Calvin Ramsey was spotted, though he isn't eligible for the Champions League. While things are going badly, Liverpool will have to stick with the more senior options. If Slotsman can get another couple of wins on the board in Europe, though, perhaps a few young talents could get a chance on matchday 8 again. Alexander Isak, in perfect storm after Arne Slot outlined next Liverpool steps. Hugo Ekitike would be within his rights to feel disappointed that his name wasn't on the Liverpool team sheet against Nottingham Forest at the weekend. But there was a reason. I do know that a 100% fit Alexander Isak is a big plus for this team, Arne Slot had said ahead of the game. For him to get there, he might need to have minutes where you could argue that another player might be further ahead of him in terms of match fitness. Clearly, Ekitike is the man most deserving of the jersey at this moment in time. He would have been a more useful option for trying to get the 3 points, too, but Slot made his mind up. And it is true that he has to field his $169 million, £125 million at some point. I had a conversation with the performance staff, Slot said. What is the best way for him, not for Liverpool, to get him as fast as we can to that 100%? I always have to find a balance between what is best for him as an individual and for us as a team. It feels like a question that he will wrestle with over the course of the next few weeks. But assuming that Isak doesn't pick up another injury setback in the meantime, the Swede is going to get plenty of minutes in December as he seeks to build match sharpness. When we talk about preseason, that forms a cornerstone for the subsequent 8 or 9 months. Injury expert Ben Dinnery tells Liverpool.com, all the research suggests that the more you miss during that period, the more difficult it is to perform consistently, and the higher risk you are of picking up injuries. That is, for your typical club, but with Liverpool, who are playing 2 or 3 games a week. Those issues are exacerbated to a level where players are unable to undertake real, high-level, intensive training. Most of the time, they play, they recover, and they look at the tactical elements. It is maintenance on the physical end. You can be involved in training and in U21's games, but nothing is really going to compare to the physical demands on players in the Premier League. The difficulty is pushing a player to a level where they are able to progress and improve sharpness. But you are doing it in a way that will protect the player and not put them at risk of fatigue and injuries. At that point, you have to proceed with caution. Pressure is ramping up on Arne Slot and all the signings are in the media firing line. Liverpool are not hitting the levels of last season, and that makes the perfect storm of a very difficult environment to work in. For all that instant results are needed and Slot is under pressure to deliver them, he also has to think about the longer-term process. Even the second half of this season will go much better for the Liverpool boss if he can find a way of getting firing. It's a chicken and egg scenario. Dinnery, speaking on behalf of Esports News, continued, there is only so much you can do away from a Premier League game. You can work on the training pitch, but it is the reintegration into the first team regularly that is really where you will see Isak flourish. Certainly in the early part of the upcoming run of games, I'd be very surprised to see Isak in the starting week in, week out, playing 90 minutes. That would be foolhardy in terms of managing his load. The 2 major red flags with injury recurrence. Isak has had adductor issues and calf issues in the past, are injury history and fatigue. Those are the 2 biggest risk factors, and it's a very fine balance. We're talking ideal scenarios here, but Ekitike might be the man to lead the line with Isak, gradually integrated with the odd start here and there. Maybe by mid-December, Isak is in a place to undertake a bit more exposure. But given what is happening around the club in terms of results, that is a difficult decision.